Alright, so this is the second to the last video that I am going to record for the year. Woohoo! Alright, so this is on trigonometric ratios. I'm going to just go over trigonometric ratios for this one. I'm going to split up radians and degrees as the next one, because I know some of you just suck at trig ratios. So anyway, here's the notes from last year. Exact same notes from last year if you had me. But you can use trig ratios, so sine, cosine, and tangent, to determine the measure of a side or angle in a right angle. In this case, I'm not gonna. In order to find the measure of an angle, that would be using inverse functions of these. But what we're going to just focus on is how you can find sides. Okay, because some of you still can't do that. Okay, but anyway, so there's an acronym called SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA, right? So that represents an easy way to remember how sine, cosine, and tangent work. Now, some of you, no matter how many times I explained this, SOHCAHTOA, still couldn't figure it out for your life. Okay, but anyway, so sine of this angle is going to be represented by a ratio, the side that is opposite of this angle divided by the hypotenuse, which is the longest side of the right triangle. Cosine of this angle is represented by the side that's adjacent or next to this angle divided by the hypotenuse. The tangent of this angle is represented by the side that's opposite of this angle divided by the adjacent side, the side that is next to this angle. Okay? Anyway, let's go through this. All right, so find the sine of angle A. So what I see here is this is my reference angle. This is angle A. All right, so we need to identify sine of A. Sine of A is represented by the opposite side and the hypotenuse. So it's the so part of SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so sine of A equals opposite divided by hypotenuse. This is the side that is opposite. This is the hypotenuse. This is the longest side of the right triangle. So it's just 24 over 26. Reduce this fraction, divide by 2, 12 divided by 13. That's sine of A. Okay, number 2, find tangent of F. So what we need to do is tangent of F is going to be represented by the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. That is represented by TOA. TOA. Okay, so this is our reference angle. The side that is opposite of this angle is going to be 72. The side that is adjacent, this is the opposite side. This side is adjacent or next to angle F. This is 21. Simplify this fraction. I think you divide numerator and denominator by 4. This is 24 over 7. Okay. Next one, find cosine of B. Cosine of B, this is my reference angle. All right. So now we're using ka, the part of SOHCAHTOA. So cosine of angle B equals the side that's adjacent or next to it divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, so this is the adjacent side. This right here is the hypotenuse. Okay, so all we're taking is 32 divided by 40. 32 divided by 40 is going to be 4/5. Okay, next one, find tangent of angle A. This is my reference angle, angle A. right? So tangent of A equals the side that is opposite divided by the adjacent side, TOA. Okay, so what we need to do is, this is the side that is opposite. Okay, that's 10. We look at the side that is adjacent or next to angle A, 24. Divide both sides by 2, so we get 5 over 12. I mean, divide numerator and denominator by 2, 5 over 12. Okay? Next one. Find cosine of A. Cosine of A. Cosine of A equals adjacent divided by hypotenuse. This is the adjacent side. This is the hypotenuse. 24 divided by 26. 24 divided by 26 is 12 over 13. Okay, this one. Find sine of angle A. Sine of angle A. So, sine of A equals side that is opposite divided by the hypotenuse. This is the side that is opposite of angle A, 32. Hypotenuse, longest side of the right triangle. So this is going to be 40. 32 divided by 40 is going to be 4/5. Okay, next one, find tangent of angle D. This is my reference angle. So tangent of D equals the side that is opposite divided by the adjacent side. Okay, so what we have to do is tangent of D is going to be 21 over 72. 21 over 72. Divide numerator and denominator by 3. So 7 over 24. Number 8. Find cosine of angle B. This is our new reference angle. So cosine of B is going to be the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, cosine of B equals 24 over 26. 24 divided by 26 is 12 over 13. Okay. Right, next one. Solve for x. Use Desmos if you don't have a graphing calculator. So, right. So, I know some of you probably don't have a graphing calculator. So this is where some of you may need to see the video. Okay. This is our reference angle. This is our reference angle that we're referring to. If we label all the sides, the long sides, the hypotenuse, the other two sides depend on which angle you're focusing on. Pick one angle, which is this angle, and look, there's one side that's the opposite. And you can clearly see that there's also an adjacent side. Okay, so what we see here is O and A are being used. O and A are being used. We use tangent. Tangent of 27 equals x divided by 15. If we want to solve for x here, I can multiply both sides by 15. So 15 tangent 27 equals x. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is, because you guys don't have a graphing calculator, right? So when you go, if you go into Desmos here, make sure when you click that this option degrees is labeled. If degrees is not labeled, you're not going to get the right answer. Okay, so this is the other option if you don't have a graphing calculator. So we're just going to type in 15 tangent of 27. Okay, so what I have there is going to be 7.642. I'm just going to round to the nearest 100. So x is approximately 7.64. Okay, next one. So this is my angle. Long sides hypotenuse, other two sides depend which angle you're focusing on. Pick one angle and look. There's one side that's the opposite. You can clearly see that there's also an adjacent side. So what we see here is A and H are used. We're going to use cosine. Cosine of 53 equals the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, so what I see here is that I can multiply both sides by x. X times cosine of 53 equals 11. Then if I want to solve for x, I can divide both sides by cosine of 53. So x equals 11 divided by cosine of 53. Okay. So if I were to just type that in, so you guys can see that. So 11 divided by cosine 53. So that's going to be about 18.28. Okay, so x is going to be approximately 18.28. Okay, next one. Right, so long sides, hypotenuse. Other two sides depend on which angle you're focusing on. Pick one angle and look. There's one side that's the opposite. You can clearly see that there's also an adjacent side. Opposite, hypotenuse. So we know that sine is going to be used. Sine of 32 equals opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. Right? So what I see here, I can multiply both sides by 18. So 18 sine of 32 equals x. Okay. So we need our calculator, our handy calculator. 18 sine 32. Okay, that's going to be about 9.54. Okay. So 9x is about 9.54. Okay. Right. I'm going to show you a few more examples and then we're good. Okay, so what we have here is the long sides, the hypotenuse. The other two sides depend on which angle you're focusing on. Pick one angle and look. There's one side that's the opposite. And you can clearly see that there's also an adjacent side. So opposite and hypotenuse are being used. Sine. Sine of 71 equals 5 divided by x. Okay. So next what I see here, multiply both sides by x. X times sine of 71 equals 5. Divide both sides by sine of 71. So x equals 5 divided by sine of 71. So just type that in. So 5 divided by sine of 71. So it's about 5.29. So about 5.29. Okay. Next one. Long sides, hypotenuse. The other two sides depend which angle you're focusing on. Pick one angle and look. There's one side that's the opposite. You can clearly see that there's an adjacent side. So adjacent hypotenuse is used. Cosine of 39 equals the adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Multiply both sides by 26. 26 times cosine of 39 equals x. So this means x is approximately, so if I type that in for you guys, 26 cosine of 39. 26 times cosine of 39 is going to be about 20.21. About 20.21. Okay. Last one. Okay. Long sides, hypotenuse, other sides bend. Which angle you're focusing on? Pick one angle and look. There's one side that's the opposite. You can clearly see that there is also an adjacent side. Okay. So now what we need to do is opposite and adjacent are used. So we know that we're going to use tangent. Tangent of 41 equals 12 over x. Okay, so what we need to do next, multiply both sides by x. So x times tangent of 41 equals 12. Divide by tangent of 41 on both sides. X equals 12 divided by tangent of 41. Okay, so go ahead and calculate that. So 12 divided by tangent of 41. That's about 13.80. Okay, so x is about 13.80. All right, and that's pretty much it for trig ratios. Okay, in the next video I'm going to describe radians and degrees. Okay, so stick around if you want to watch that. Hopefully that's a nice little refresher for some of you that suck at trig ratios. Okay, bye.